So this LMS, right? So actually what we were discussing was the reliability and validity analysis. So we discussed these things under session number 6. So please, I would encourage you to download these two again. Fact analysis tutorial, which is under week 8, right? Under week 8, please download these two files and please open that, right? And then we'll try to navigate the information. Okay, the recording has started. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so please open that. So I have already opened it. So you can see we did fact analysis. All right, why do we do fact analysis? Why do we do fact analysis? I explained to you that we do fact analysis for two reasons. One, of course, for data reduction. You can see the example I had taken. There are here, how many elements are there? There are 12 elements, isn't it? And I reduced it to 4 factors. So likewise, fact analysis, what we could do is we could reduce, right? We could reduce the elements into factors, reduce data. The other one, which I explained, was to check the construct validity of a variable, which we both did that day. So we took an example of life satisfaction, the job satisfaction of employees. So here you can see job satisfaction was measured using 5, right, similar variables, similar questions, right? And then there was work-life balance, which we again measured using another 5 questions. Now, if you look at the job satisfaction as well as work-life balance questions, you will see they are asking almost the same information. They are asking the respondent, each respondent to, it's almost the same question. My first question to you was, why we need to ask the same question in different ways? Job satisfaction, you can see we are asking the same question in different 5 ways. Over the screen, you can see that I feel satisfied with my job. I enjoy going to work every day. I feel motivated at work. You can see same question, right, in a 5-point Likert scale. It's been questioned. So my question to you is, why do we need to ask the same, thing in 5 different ways? Why? Why do we need to do that? Someone will have to answer that question. Why is that? Why do we need to ask? That they agree with the answer. Why do we need to ask them?
To find out or to confirm something.
Okay, thank you, Buddha. Thank you very much for your effort and attempt. Really appreciate it, because that's what I wanted. Only one student could answer. How about others? That's the thing. You have to actively take part. If not, these useless exercise. Right? These are useless exercise unless you actively take part. So therefore, maybe you are traveling or whatever, but again, actively take part, listen and engage. So I plan to give a group exercise on this Sunday as well, based on what I'm teaching you today. Therefore, carefully attend, carefully listen, You have to do that. If not, you will not be able to do anything. Right. Why we are asking the same question in different ways is that this is Likert type of questions. Right? If these are Likert type of questions, we'll have to understand. Indeed, if a person or if let's say the majority do not understand a question properly, then if you ask only one question on a perception-based question like this, job satisfaction, it's perception-based. If you ask only one question and if it is misunderstood by the majority, then your variable is gone. Gender, you don't need to ask in 5 different ways. No? Gender, you can ask in a particular way. What's your gender? Right? Basically, male, female. But when it's satisfaction related ones or perception related ones like satisfaction, job satisfaction or life satisfaction, you need to ask the same question in maybe 5, 6 different ways, at least 3 different ways, the same thing. Then we understood, right? If we perform fact analysis, now based on that, right, you can then download the database. Here is the database, status session 6, job satisfaction, work and life balance dataset. So if you open that dataset, download and open, so I have opened it, you will see, right, these, although there are 5 questions on JS, like job satisfaction, and then WLP, work-life balance, there are 5 questions. What you have to understand is they're asking the same thing. Job satisfaction related to job satisfaction and work-life balance related to work-life balance. That's why if we did a fact analysis using these 5 questions, job satisfaction, how many factors should come out? How many factors should come out? Now there are 5 sub-questions. I do a fact analysis. How many sub-questions should come out? How many vectors?
1.
1. Indeed. Excellent. So, right. Very good. So if I put all these 10 questions and run a fact analysis, how many factors should come up?
2.
Very good. Excellent. So that's what we did that day. Right. So again, let me remind you, right? So how to run a fact analysis? I gave you steps, 4 steps. Right. So here, run the basic fact analysis. You say factor and put all the questions of the 2 variables. So I'll say factor. And I will put all the variables. I will double click, so it will come over there. And double click. Right. So 10 questions I put. How many factors should come out? 2 factors should come out because I put 2 sets of questions. So if I hit enter, you can see this one. What can you tell about looking at the first table? Eigenvalues. By looking at the eigenvalues, what you could say? You could say, so let me use my 2 things, make a little bit enlarge. Where's that? Magnify. Awesome. So let me enlarge and show you. So you can see here clearly, if you look at the first table, you can see there are 2 factors where the eigenvalue is above 2, above 1 in fact. So 2 factors. So this is an indication what? It seems there are 2 factors. And if you see the factor loadings of JS1, right, has come to factor 2. Right, it's quite high. Then for JS2, for WLB1 to WLB5, it has come under factor 1. We can just observe. Right. And then I told you under step number 2, what you're going to do. You're going to draw script plot. I say script plot. Just type script plot and hit enter. Right. Here also you can see what? There are 2 bends. This is the first point and this is the another point. So this also indicates what? There seems two factors. Then what you are going to do is in the third step, what you are going to do? We are going to force it. We are again going to get the factor, the generic one. I just click on this. So any command that's there, if you click that again, it will be passed to here, right? This is the history window. And if you just click on one, it will come into the what? It will come into the command line. Then now what I'm going to do is now, since I know that there are two factors, I'm going to put a comma here and I'm going to say factors. Then I'll start brackets and I will just type 2 because I know that there should be two factors. Then I hit enter. Then now you can see much better, isn't it? Now the things have loaded to, of course, the engine values are the same, but now you can see it's the factor loadings are much clear. But still I'm not happy because it's the unrotated matrix. Then I, under step number 4, what I taught was you have to perform what? A rotation. So you can say rotate, comma, and what's the most popular rotation method? Varimax. Varimax, rotate, comma, varimax. So this is the fourth step, and now you can see, right, these factor loadings. You can see how nicely it has come here. So JS1 to JS5, it has loaded under factor 2. You can see all the factor loadings are above 0.5. Even it's above 0.7. And for WLB 1 to 5, it has loaded under factor 1. Again, it's all above 0.8. Right? So these are factor loadings are the correlation between the factor and this particular question, either better. So you can see that. Okay, so this is what I taught you last week in summer. Right? Then I wanted you to, now this is where you check the construct validity because it has come as one construct. Now see, WLB1 to WLB5 sub-questions have come as factor 1, as one construct. In that case, we conclude there is construct validity for factor 1. Right, for WLB, that's factor 1. Work-life balance. Then for factor 2, which is job satisfaction, again you conclude that there is what? There is construct validity because it came as one factor. Suppose it broke into 3-4 factors, then we cannot claim, right, there's construct validity because we expected 2 variables, but now if there are 3-4 factors that have eigenvalue more than 1, that is an issue. Right? So this is what we did under factor analysis. Right? Is that clear? So I again reminded you what we did. Then what we did was we checked the reliability analysis. Now, what was the metric we used for the reliability analysis? How did we check the reliability analysis? By looking at what? What's reliability? Reliability now. Validity, construct validity, we check by doing a factor analysis. And we see that whether it loads under one factor, the questions that are related to a variable. But on the other hand, what's reliability analysis? What is reliability analysis? Can someone tell me what's reliability analysis? Whether these questions are consistent. Now, there are 5 questions under each no. Whether those questions are consistent. Reliable means consistent. Right? So, to check that, what analysis did you perform? What analysis did we perform? What the analysis we perform, Pudha? What's the analysis, Pudha, we perform? Hmm? My God. So this is what we discussed on the factor analysis, and then to check the reliability, we did what? We used the Cronbach's alpha. Cronbach's alpha. You say alpha and you say that you give the sub questions. And I was telling you to say that there's reliability, right? That the Cronbach's alpha value should be above 0.7. So how to check that? You will say alpha. And you are going to give the 5 sub questions. Let's give it 5 questions. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So hit enter. So you can see here the reliability is how much? 0.92. Is it good? Excellent. Right? We are expecting above 0.7. Can you also check the reliability of the other variable? The sub questions of WLP. We'll say alpha. WLP 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. What's that? It's 0.93. Is it good? Extremely. Right?
Excuse
It's
me,
also.
sir.
Yes, Pudha?
We didn't do that alpha part.
Ah, very good. Ekani. So very good that you told that. Right? Okay, that's very nice. So let me teach you that. That's what exactly we have to do. Now, Buddha, then I completed checking reliability, the validity, construct validity factors. Right? Now let's check the consistency, the reliability. Whether these questions, now these 5 questions are asking the same thing. No? So that's what we call reliability, internal consistency. For that, Buddha, please take down a small topic, checking the internal consistency. Okay, Buddha, please take a small topic, that checking the internal consistency. And then you can say, please take down, in order to check the internal consistency, the Cronbach alpha value. How to write it? You can see over the screen. In order to check the internal consistency, the Cronbach alpha value is computed. The Cronbach alpha value is computed, which should be above 0.7. Above 0.7. I have given this as a note, but again, I'm giving it to you because it's important. So alpha value should be above 0.7. Then how to check the internal consistency, which I already taught you now, right? What you do is you can just copy this and paste, or you can go to Stata, open the data file, and you can say alpha. You type alpha, that's Cronbach alpha, you can see alpha. And then just double click on this JS1, JS2, JS3, JS4, and JS5. So it will come over here, right? JS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hit enter. What can you say the, right? So let's close over, right? Okay. What can you say? The Cronbach alpha value is how much? We can see here 0.9258. Is it good or bad?
Good.
It's extremely good, isn't it? Because it's above 0.7. So you conclude it's good. Then also you can do the same thing for the WLB questions. Alpha. And then you are going to put this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And you are going to hit enter. What can you see there? There also you can see these values are 0.93. Is it good? Yes, indeed, it's good because it's above 0.7. So what's your conclusion? Both, right? Both the job satisfaction related questions as well as work-life balance related 5 questions, right? Each of them separately, we have to check the Chrome-based alpha separately, are having high reliability. Isn't it? So that's going to be your conclusion. Okay. That's going to be your conclusion. Clear? Is it clear, Buddha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is what you do. And today also, I'm going to take a case study and explain this. Not only this, I'm going to give you a comprehensive case study where you'll be able to understand now. You are also under your individual assignment as well as group assignment, Buddha, required to create a case study. Right? Today I'll help you, right? Although not the same, but I'll help you to formulate one. And I'm going to, in fact, apply up to now. I have discussed several analyses. I'm going to take one research and I'm going to apply all analysis that we have discussed. Right? I'm going to apply that. I'm going to teach you that. Okay. Shall we do that? Indeed, why not? A student wanted to tell something. Hello?
Hello.
Did a student want to tell something, Buddha?
Am I audible?
Yes, Buddha. Please go ahead.
Sir, can you repeat the last thing? I didn't catch that part.
Okay, Buddha, no problem. Why not? So, Buddha, what didn't you
Thank you,
catch?
sir.
No problem. Here, Buddha, actually, under step number 5, this is actually, Buddha, what we are trying to do is we are trying to check the reliability of the questions. Now, we, Buddha, check the validity, right? Construct validity. How did we check the construct validity?
Yes.
How did we check that? By performing what analysis? Fact analysis, isn't it?
Analysis.
We perform fact analysis. Now, Buddha, we need to check the reliability. Reliability of these questions. Reliability means whether these questions are consistent, whether they are again related, consistent. Now, 5 questions from job satisfaction should be related, no? Isn't it? Work-life balance,
Yes.
the 5 questions should be related. Now, to check the relatedness, Buddha, what you do is you calculate something called Cronbach's alpha. Right? You are calculating Cronbach's alpha. And the parameter is that this Cronbach's alpha value should be above 0.7. Is it clear?
Yes,
It has
sir.
to be
Agree.
above 0.7. Very good. Then, Buddha, how to check that? It's very simple. Right? You go to, let me expand it and show it. So I'm going to go here to the command line and I'm going to say alpha. ALPHA. Alpha, and then, right, you can say JS1 to JS5, there's no problem. But again, I'm lazy to type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the cursor over here and go to the list of variables, JS1, JS2, JS3, JS4, and JS5. If I double click, it will come here. Right? And hit enter. Input, you can see the Cronbach's alpha value is how much here? You can see it's 0.9258. Is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? Good, isn't it? Ned, hondai ned Buddha.
It's good. It's good.
Because it's above 0.7. Good. You got a point. Then shall we do that the same thing for the next one? You say alpha, and you are going to go to again WD1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you are going to hit enter. Now what's the Colombo set for? You got 0.93 for it. Is it good or bad, Putha?
Also, it's also
It's
about the
extreme. It's also above 0.7. It's also above 0.7, indeed. So that's what Putha we did. We just checked the internal consistency, whether the questions are consistent. Ekakari, we are looking at whether it's consistent. Right? So we check the construct validity as well as the consistency. Construct validity Putha was checked using fact analysis. And by using Cronbach's alpha, we were checking the internal consistency. Right?
Thank you very much.
By all means. Right. So here I have given the output as well. Okay, Buddha. Now let's come into today's main discussion point, which I will put these into practice. Right. I'll give you the chance again to check all these things, because now you should be able to do these things. And of course, this Sunday, on a group basis, I'll be giving you a similar case that you need to work out and present. Right. So therefore, be ready. Okay. Right. Never mind about that. Okay. So therefore, listen very carefully today. Right. Listen very carefully today, because there's no time to do the things, because now itself you are required to study and look at what I'm doing. Right. Okay. See what we do. Okay. To do that, you go to the LMS and download these two files. So under week number 9, it says Music Premium Database and Music Premium Case Study. Final with questions. So please download Putha these two files. Music Premium Case Study and Music Premium Database. Can you please Putha download it and open that after that? Huh? Okay. So I'm going to again give you the chance to show you. Right. Okay. So I'm going to open that. I have already got it. So let me open that. Music Premium Case Study. So I'll be opening the case study first. And then Putha, please open the. So you are able to open it. I have given you the answers as well, but again, I'll explain these things all. Right. There are several questions that are there in this case study, which I'm going to explain one by one. The answers are already there. Right. Okay. So case study Music Premium app. What it says is, with an entrepreneurial spirit, shall we go through? Are you able to open the case study? Download both the Word file as well as the data file and see what has been given. With an entrepreneurial spirit, a group of graduates expects to introduce a music streaming app and has launched a trial version with all premium features for a limited time. Let's say sub students have got together, sub graduates have got together. Once they are out, they thought of coming up with what? A music premium app. They intend to know the purchase intention and other dimension of the music premium app and distributed a self-administered questionnaire among the trial users. Now, actually, I have taken this case study from one of your past papers. If you see the past paper, question number 1 carries 40 marks. This is one of that. The only difference is, at the exam, you'll be given the output. Now, of course, we have to use data and generate the output, but at the exam, you'll be given the output as appendices. Right? So this one was one of those question papers. So the question is available in Appendix 1 at the end of this case study. So it's there. The questionnaire consists of two parts. Part A consists of mainly demographic characteristics of trial users, and part B consists of independent and independent variables. Right? So these variables are measured using 5-point Likert scale. Independent and dependent variables are measured using Likert scale. The questionnaire was developed based on a literature survey and then directly created and distributed. The data consists of 300 users are included in the data dataset Music Premium Database DTL, which was the other file. A quite heavy investment is expected to be made in further developing, launching and promoting and maintaining the app. And therefore, the group of accounting students, that's you, accounting, let's say, graduates. So you can make a small amendment. You can say graduates. Graduates has requested you to perform an analysis of the collected data and provide them with insights. Right? At the exam, you won't be given this conceptual framework, but here I am giving that. So to understand what are the independent and dependent variables, you have to go to the questionnaire, which is given in an appendix. Here, the appendix is given. Appendix 1, questionnaire for factors influencing customer purchase intention of premium version of the music streaming app. Right, let's say music streaming app. So it says the cover letter, right? It says the cover letter, and then okay, you are required to, I kindly invite to fill this question for the trials. So demographic characteristics, you can see gender, age. Gender is what? Is it a continuous variable or a categorical variable? It's a categorical variable, isn't it? Then age is given, marital status is given, highest academic qualification, those are all categorical, except age. Then occupation is there. Then how the music is listened to, as well as how you mostly listen music. And then come part B of the question, section B. So these are Likert questions, and you can see opinion leadership is there, one independent. Then there are sub-questions for that. Functional value is there. And there are 7 sub-questions. Emotional value, 3 sub-questions. Conditional value, 4 sub-questions. Epistemic value, there are 4 questions, sub-questions. Then social value, there are 4 sub-questions. Then purchase intention, there are 4 sub-questions. So likewise, you can see several variables are there. For each variable, you can see there are sub-questions. Right? Gender, you did not have any sub-questions. There was only one question. But purchase intention, look here, you can see several sub-questions are there. Why? Why do you have several sub-questions? You could have asked one question whether you intend to buy this particular app. From the trial cases, you could ask them. Why you have several sub-questions? Why you have several sub-questions? Again, the same answer that, the question and the answer that applies that I asked earlier. If you had asked only one question and if it is misunderstood, because these are Likert type perception-based questions, they could be easily misunderstood. Therefore, what we say is, to avoid any misunderstandings, you need to do what? You need to ask the same question in several different ways. Then after that, to check whether these questions are consistent as well as whether these questions have construct validity and reliability, right? Construct validity and reliability, you have to perform fact analysis and reliability analysis. I'll tell you how to do that. Got a point? Okay. So these related to purchase intention, there are 4 questions. Likewise, if you see carefully, how many independent variables are there? Now that the exam, you won't be given any conceptual diagrams. You have to understand this fact. You have to go through the questionnaire and understand how many independent variables are there. So how many independent variables are there? Opinion leadership 1. Then sub-questions of that. Functional value 2. Emotional value 3. Conditional value 4. Then epistemic value 5. Then social value 6. Then you have the purchase intention, which is the dependent variable. So how many independent variables do you have? How many independent variables put up?
6.
6 independent variables. Very good. And 1 dependent variable. So then, at the exam, you won't be given this diagram, but here for ease of understanding, I have given this diagram here. You can see. So dependent variable and the independent 6 independent variables. What are the 6 independent variables? Functional value, social value, emotional value, conditional value, epistemic value, and opinion leadership. And you can see these are taken together, and then there's an arrow. I'm enlarging that. You can see there's an arrow going and connecting purchase intention. That shows that the functional value, social value, and others are impacting purchase intention. Right? Is that clear? So this is the case study. So what you need to know is that you are trying to do research to understand whether there's an impact of these 6 factors on the purchase intention of this music app, the trial version of the premium music app. Is that clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it? Good, very good. Then we shall take question by question. So I have given the answers also. State the possible quantitative research objectives based on the case given above. So what are the quantitative research objectives? So usually when it comes to quantitative research objectives, there can be 3 types. One, to assess the level of purchase intention. So maybe in your case, of course, the purchase intention, the first one is to see the level of a certain variable. The level of a certain variable. Right? So here it's the purchase intention. Your dependent variable is the purchase intention of the trial users of this basic premium app. So you are going to look at the level, the degree, right? The amount of purchase intention with its high, low, moderate. Then number 2, to examine the difference in purchase intention, right? Based on the demographic information, based on gender, let's say based on marital. There are other demographics as well. But let's say for this research, I would like to see whether there's a difference of purchase intention in terms of gender and marital status. Then third one, to see the relationship between the 6 independent variables and the dependent variable. That's the purchase intention. And I can have in a fourth one, whether there is an impact of these 6 independent variables on the purchase intention. In fact, you can now, it could be 3 objectives if you combine C and D, but I would like to take that separately to look at the relationship as well as look at the impact. Right. Now, I want you to tell me what are the analysis that you have to do to achieve these objectives. Right? What's the analysis that you have to do to achieve these objectives? Now, to assess the level of purchase intention. Assess the level of purchase intention, what analytical tools that you will be using? I told you that. What's that? What analytical tools you will be using? My God, can't anyone tell that? Variable එක level එකක් බලන්න ඕන මොකද කරන analysis එක? If you want to look at the level of a variable, what's the analysis you perform? What's the analysis you have to perform? Descriptive analysis. Descriptive analysis. Right? For an example, you will be calculating the mean value, the median value, standard deviation. Those kind of things will give you an understanding of the level as well as any kind of deviations, isn't it? So that's where you are going to do. Right. Then that kind of analysis you'll be doing. Then to see the difference in purchase intention. Difference in purchase intention. What's the Putha analysis that you perform? Let's say you want to see gender-wise, if there's a difference in purchase intention. What's the analysis you perform?
Frequency.
Frequency. Think again, think. T-test. Independent sample T-test. Two groups. You are trying to see whether purchase intention differs based on the independent sample T-test. Isn't it? Clear. Then marital status. I would say whether marital status. Now, if you see that there are several, marital status. What are the marital status that are there? If you go to the appendix, it's there. Marital status, there are how many status? 5. 5 categories, 5 groups. So what analysis are you going to do to compare 5 groups? To compare 5 groups, what's the analysis you perform?
One way ANOVA.
One way ANOVA, excellent. One way ANOVA, as well as you can perform in addition what? A post hoc analysis. A post hoc analysis, isn't it? A post hoc analysis as well. So therefore, right, good. Then to see the relationship between 6 independent variables and the purchase intention separately. You will take one by one each independent variable with the purchase intention. Likewise, you have to run this 6 times. What's the analysis you are going to do to see the relationship? What's the analysis to see the relationship?
Regression.
Relationship. Relationship.
Correlation.
Correlation. Indeed. Yes, you are correct if it is the impact. If you are going to see the impact of the 6 independent variables on the dependent variable, that's purchase intention, you will perform what? A regression analysis. So likewise, Putha, these are the objectives, possible for objectives you could have. At the exam, expect these type of questions. You'll be given a similar scenario and then you'll be asked, okay, what type of objectives you can come up with. Right? Is that clear? Right. Then suggest a suitable sampling strategy and say why. Now, under your research method course, right, Isarumi should have taught you several sampling strategies. She should have classified that. She taught you that there are 2 categories of sampling techniques. One is called probability sampling and the other one is called non-probability sampling techniques. So what are the probability sampling techniques that she taught you? What are the probability sampling techniques she taught you? What are the probability sampling techniques she taught you? Can you remember? Simple random, stratified random, then what? Systematic and cluster sampling. Right? So those are the random sampling techniques or the probability sampling techniques, which is also known as statistical sampling techniques as well. Right? Then comes the non-probability sampling techniques. What she taught you is non-probability sampling techniques. Right. For example, convenience sampling, snowball sampling, purposive sampling, or judgmental sampling. It's also called a judgmental sampling. What else? Then finally, quota sampling. And then self-selection sampling, because there are different methods. Right. Under here, what's the best method to be selected or applied to get a sample? What's the best method? Of course, it has to be a quantitative sampling technique. That's correct. So what's the method that you could suggest? What's the method you could suggest? What's the method? If I were you, I would have done a stratified random sample. Why? Now remember, to do a random sampling, you need the list of all units of the population. Right? You need what? The list of all units. Unless otherwise you cannot perform a random sample. We call that what? The list of all units in a population is known as what? What's it known as? It's known as sampling frame. Although it's called sampling frame itself, but it's a list of the population. Right? All the items should be listed there. Now my question to you is, in this scenario that's given to you, can we have access to a list of all participants of this premium version of the app? Can we have a list? No, unless otherwise we cannot perform a random sample. Now, do we have a list for that? Can we have a list for that? List of all participants of this particular music app? Right? Can we have that? You can. Because remember, these are trial app. To get the trial, you need to register. You need to give information. Right? In the app, you need to register. So in that case, already the list is available. Already the list is available. And therefore, you can perform a random sample. And in order to make it more representative, right, from different stratas, different subpopulations, which are called as stratas, right, like based on gender, marital status, there are different modalities of this particular data set, isn't it? There are quite of variations within the data set. Therefore, what we could recommend is to perform a stratified random sample so that each segment, subsegment will be represented. Right? So that's what I have told you. A stratified random sampling strategy would be more suitable to obtain a representative sample. Because finally, what matters is a representative sample. Right? Is that clear, Buddha?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Then you expect Karan, these are direct examination question, and also this order you can follow your individual assignment as well as group one. Right? So still, have you got your variables? No. You have not got your variables. You have not got any of your variables. Why? Because still only the sub questions are there. Of course, gender, matter status, the variables are there. But if you go to the data set, still it's not there. You have not created yet the variables. I'll tell you how to create the variables. First, you need to check the reliability and the validity. Right? Is that clear? Okay. So now let's investigate how to check the reliability of the each variable. So how many variables are altogether there? There are 7 variables, 6 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. Now we need to check the reliability. First of all, we'll have to check the reliability of these questions. You can see under each variable, there are sub questions. Now, if you go to the questionnaire, which is given in Appendix 1, you can see now, of course, demographics, you ask only one question on one dimension. Now, you can see for the each independent variable, like for an opinion leader, for an example, opinion leadership, it has 6 sub questions. Right? So we need to see whether these 6 sub questions are reliable. Right? Then functional value. How many questions are there? 7 sub questions are there. We need to see whether these 7 questions are what? Reliable, consistent. Asking the same thing. Emotional value, you can see there are only 3 questions. At least we say if the Likert scale questions are there, you have to have at least 3 questions. So they have 3 questions. So yes, you can see that. Then conditional value, epistemic value as well as social value. Then finally, purchase intention. Okay. So first thing what you have to do is based on the data, you have to check the reliability. How to check the reliability? Very simple. You go to Stata. First of all, please open that data file. So I'm going to go here and you can download it, open it from the website. See, this is the website, Music Premium Database. Please download and open it, please. Music Premium Database. So I already taught you numerous times. So double click and open Music Premium Database once it's taken. And you can see here, now if you open that data set, you can see, let me expand it so you can see much better. You can see under variables, gender is there, age, marital status, education. Then you can see the sub questions are there, OL1 to OL6. These are the sub variables or sub questions, and the responses are given. Each individual had to fill these questions. But still you don't see opinion leadership variable, right? You don't see opinion leadership variable, but you can see the sub questions of the variables, right? Till PI1 to PI4, right? So others, please ignore. There are some other variables after PI1 to PI4. PI is purchase intention, right? PI1 to, then there are certain other variables, just ignore them, right? So is that clear? Now what you need to do is, you need to check whether these 5, 6 questions on each dimension, maximum there was 7, minimum there was 3, right? Items in each. So what you are trying to do is, you are trying to see whether these sub questions are consistent or not under each variable. So how to check the consistency or the reliability? How to check that? You will be performing what? Cronbach's alpha. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say alpha. Alpha, ALPHA, all simple. Then OL1, OL2, OL3, OL4, OL5, OL6. So I got to put OL over here. You can see I got OL1 to OL6 because these are the sub questions, and I want to see the Cronbach's alpha value. So I could comment on the reliability. So how to run the regression? How to run this consistency analysis or the reliability analysis? You say alpha and you put the 6 sub questions and hit enter. You get 0.78. Is it good? The Cronbach's alpha value is 0.78. Is it good?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Very good. Because it's above 0.7. So likewise, what you're going to do is, so let me take you, right, it's too large. Let me take you now to the Word file that we were doing. So it's here. So if you go now, you can prepare a table like this. So I have given even how to prepare the table, right? You can say, okay, construct is the opinion leadership. These are the sub items, OL1 to OL6. There are 6 items. And you can see the compressed alpha value is 0.78. Likewise, you can summarize this. You can summarize this as a table of this nature. Right? Then can you check the functional value reliability, please? FE, FE1 to FE7, there are 7 sub-questions. Can you check that? How to check the reliability? Very simple. You'll again go to what? Alpha, ALPHA, and then you'll get function value. FE1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So FE, functional value. There are 7 questions. Let's see whether these are consistent. What can you see? Is it consistent? Are these 7 questions consistent?
Yes.
Yes, because it's above 0.7. It's really good, 0.86. So you are going to record that as well here. You are going to say functional value, FE. There are 7 sub-questions, so there are 7 items in that scale. And the compressed alpha value is, right, 0.86 or even 0.87, which is good. Likewise, for each of, now I showed you how to do for the 2 independent variables. For each of the variables, you need to compute them. Right? Again, as a practice, can we now do a alpha test for, right, emotional value? I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. Can you tell me, doing the analysis, can you tell me please whether the emotional value, EV, are consistent or not? Sub questions on that are consistent or not? Can you tell me? What can you say? Can run the alpha. I say ALPHA. So now let's come to, so let me increase the size so you can see that much better. So now it's EV, emotional value. Enter, enter, enter. So it all these three things. Oh, just type EV1 to EV3. No problem. Hit enter. What can you see? The alpha value comes to 0.74. Is it significant?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. It's reliable. It's above 0.0. So you can see, therefore, likewise you can do. Then let's go to the CV. CV is conditional value. How many sub-questions are there? Conditional value sub-questions kiya tiyena kuda? There are 4 sub-questions, isn't it? CV1 to CV4. Shall we see the alpha value for that also? So we'll just type ALPHA, and then you'll go over here and you'll double click, double click, double click, double click. So once you double click, it comes over here and you hit it. What can you say about the consistency of CV1 to CV4? Those questions are highly consistent. It's even 0.86. Likewise, you are going to do for all independent and dependent variables. So I have already done that. And if you look at that, here you can see these are the 0.86. Then for EPV, it's 0.85. SV is 0.81. PI 0.81. Overall, what can you say? Overall, what can you say about the 7 independent and dependent variables? Are those reliable or not? The questions under those, the questions under those variables are reliable. Yes, you're correct, Puta. It is reliable because all are above 0.7. Right? So therefore, once you have your research objectives, once you collect the data, right, what you need to do is before you do anything, any other kind of variable creation, still you have not good variables. You have only the sub questions for the Likert questions. variables නේ මම හදන විදිහෙන් පැහැදිලි කරන්න පස්සේ. variables හදන්නේ ඔයාලා ඒ sub questions වල ඒ variable එකට අදාළ sub questions වල reliability මේ check කරන්නේ. What you are doing is you are trying to check the reliability of the sub questions of the variables. Still you have not created the variables. First you have to check what? The reliability. Is that clear? Then D, comment on the construct validity. Right? Now, after you check the reliability, you have to check the construct validity. Now, tell me how to check the construct validity of these sub questions. Make a construct test to see whether these sub questions are coming under one construct. What's the analysis you would perform?
Fact analysis.
Very good. Excellent. It's fact analysis. Perfect. So then we can check that, right? But here, the best practice is to take one by one. Don't put all 7 variables together and run a factor analysis. Take one by one. So I'm going to say factor. I'm going to type factor. And I'll take one by one. So oil 1, oil 2, oil 3, oil 4, oil 5, and oil 6. Right? First run a normal factor analysis. Factor oil 1 to oil 5. Right? So you can see I just put it over there. Right? And then I'm going to hit enter. And you will get this one. So this is factor. If I go a little bit down, you can see the engine values are given. What can you see? What can you see with that, Puta? By looking at the engine values, what can you see? How many factors are there? How many factors do you expect by looking at these 6 questions? Now there are 6 questions on opinion leadership. How many factors you expect?
1.
1. Very good. What's the factor known as? Opinion leadership, isn't it? Although Sorry, Puta, my connection got out. Can you see my screen? Puta, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, Puta, thank you very much. So, Buddha, as you very correctly told, now you have OL 1 to OL 6, six, questions on opinion leadership, and you can see you expect one factor, and it's in fact, indeed, you see one factor. Why? Because by looking at the eigenvalues, there's only one factor that has an eigenvalue of above 1. So that's an indication of what? There is one factor. Then factor loadings indicate there are two factors, but indeed you can see factor 1, all questions have loaded under what this OL1 to OL6 has loaded under factor 1. You can also see this by drawing a scree plot diagram. You can say scree plot. You can just type scree plot and hit enter. You can see the same thing, isn't it? So now this is size. Okay, you can see after one bend, it slants. So seems there's one factor. That's what it shows. Then what we do is, right, we can force it to one factor. So again, you go and click on the earlier general factor analysis. So if you click on the history, it comes over here, right? It's already there, so it came over. Or if not, you can just again type it if you want. And then I'm going to force it to 1 by putting a comma. I'm going to put a comma after OL6, and then I say factors, and I'm going to say 1 because I expect one factor based on the eigenvalue. Hit enter. Now you can see the real correct factor scores loaded under one factor. OL1 to OL6. You can see nicely it has been loaded under one factor. It's almost above 0.5. All above 0.5. OL1 to OL5. Right? So what you're going to do is now you are going to report this. So you should be extremely happy to see this result because you can see, right, one factor came out and then you forced it to one factor because the eigenvalue was above 1. And you expected 1 and you got 1. So in that case, your conclusion is what? Is there a construct variety for oil 1, oil 2, oil 3, oil 5, oil 5, and oil 6? Yes, indeed. Right? So that's your answer. So you'll go over here and you will record that. So you'll see, right, oil construct is there. Eigenvalue, there is only 1. Right? Based on the eigenvalue, how factors are there? What are the items? Oil 1 to oil 6. So the factor loadings are in that range 0.59 to 0.72. Likewise, you will say there's construct validity. Because only one factor came. If there were two factors, eigenvalue indicated two factors or three factors, big issue. Can you now check the factor loadings of FE variable? There are 7 sub questions and see whether it comes under one as one construct, one factor. Then you could claim there's construct validity. Can you please perform that? How to do that? Very simple. Again, you do the same. Right now, opinion leadership has construct value. Now, function value. Function value, how many sub questions are there? There are 7 sub questions. So how to check the function value? We'll say again factors, factor, and you'll say FE1, right? So we checked oil, then FE1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So FE1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factors. You will hit enter. You can see by looking at the eigenvalue, how many factors are there? This FE1 to FE7. How many factors are there? What does the eigenvalue indicate? How many factors?
1.
1, indeed. Excellent. Because the eigenvalue is only one factor has an eigenvalue above 1. Very good. Then Buddha, what we can do? After that, you can, if you want, you can draw a screen plot diagram and confirm that. Or what you can do is you can force it to 1. And you're going to say what? You're going to again go to the history. And if you go and click on a command that was given, all in the history, the earlier commands are listed. And if you just go and click a command that's already there, it will come into the command line again. And I'm going to put a comma and I'm going to force it to 1. I'll say factors. And I'm going to say 1, close brackets. And hit enter. Now you can see, right, in new output, it has been loaded as 1 because we post it. And you can see all the factor loadings are above 0.5. There's one problem. FE7. Right? FE7 has a problem. Can you see? The factor loading is below point, right? Below 0.5. So probably this question has to be removed. Right? This question has to be removed. Because it has a factor loading below 0.5. This question is not a good question. At least the factor loading should have been 0.4. 0.5 is the tolerable, but 0.5, 0.4 even okay, like let's see. But if it is 0.32, FP7 seems an issue. So probably we have to remove this question in creating the FP variable. In creating the FP variable, right, we take only the valid, ones, and we take the average of these questions and we create them. I'll show you how to do that. But again, this one, keep in mind, FP7 has a problem. That's an issue. Right. Okay. Then now I would like to go to the next variable and check the construct validity. So here, if I'm going to go to FE1 to FE7, right here, I say I go to FE6. And here, 0.32, I won't take it. I don't like it. Isn't it? I don't like it. So I will take the lowest one as what? Here, the lowest one factor loading is 0.55. That's okay. So I'll take 0.55. 0.55 what? 0.5527. 0.5527. Okay. 0.5527. So I would like to take only 6 sub-questions because one sub-question has a factor loading less than 0.3. That's very poor, isn't it? Right. Then EV. EV, how to check the construct value of EV, Buddha? Simple thing. Again, you do the same thing. You go to factor and do what? Go to factor. And now you go to what? EV. EV1, 2, 3. So you put factor and hit enter. You don't need to force it as well. So there are 3 questions, only one factor came out. You can see the eigenvalue, right? Only for one factor, it's above 1. And of course, the factor also came as 1. So there's no problem. This variable also has construct value. Yeah, I have put that also. Emotional value, eigenvalue above 1 is 1. EV1 to EV is 3, and the factor loadings are reasonable. All above 0.5. Then can you check for CV? How can you check the construct validity of CV? Construct validity means 1. Once you run the factor analysis for 6, these 6 or 5 or whatever sub-questions, now here it's 4 sub-questions, CV1 to CV4, one factor should come out. If there are two factors coming out, then something's wrong with that construct validity. It doesn't come as one construct, right? So shall we check that? How to check that? You will say factor, and you go C1, C2, 3, 4, and hit enter. You can see how many factors are there. By looking at the eigenvalue, how many factors are there about it? How many factors? One factor, isn't it? Because the eigenvalue is above 1 for only one factor. Clear? And it has loaded as true. So what we can do is we can then take the same command by clicking the history. It will come over here again. And I'm going to put a comma and I say, I'm going to force it to 1 factor. And within brackets, I'll say 1. And then you can see here, it has come. So all above 0.7. In fact, 0.5, isn't it? Even 0.7. Oh yeah, 1 is 0.6, so all above 0.5. So then you can report that as well, saying that what the emotional value E123 also has construct value. Sorry, CV1 to CV4, that also has construct value. It has 1. So do the same for EPV, SV, and PI. All will have, in fact, 1, right, eigenvalue above 1. Right, there will be for 1 factor. Then you will check the factor loadings, right? It will be fine. But on the other hand, I think you can remember FV is 7, functional value is 7 subquestion, we had a factor loadings very low, 0.3 something. So when you create the variables, which I'll show you after the interval, when you create that, you have to omit that variable and create the variable. How to do that, I'll teach you. Right? Is that clear? Okay, students. So that's how you check the validity and reliability. Once you check the validity and reliability, then you can create the independent and dependent variables. I'll tell you how to do that after the break. And then once you create the variables, you'll be able to perform what? Descriptive analysis, correlation analysis, and even t-test and regression analysis. We'll do that all. Okay. But before we do that, before do any of these analysis, we have to create the variables. I'll tell you how to create the variables just after the break. Okay, students. So shall we have a break now? Now it's 9. Till 9:20, shall we have a small break? Sure. Okay, Buddha. Thank you very much. Students, welcome back. Can you hear me? Students. Students, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so welcome back. So you are very much welcome back. And so what we shall do is now, we shall continue our discussion. Now, if we go back, you can see that we check the reliability and the validity of the variables, right? To check the reliability, we perform converse alpha analysis. And to check the validity, construct validity, we perform factor analysis. Only in one case, that's functional value, there was 7 sub-questions. One sub-question was an issue. Now let's see, because we shall deal with that when it comes to that. So now we shall see how to create the variables. Now these are only sub-questions we have. Now we need to see how to create the variables. So if you go and browse, I'm going to use browse command, BROWSC, browse command, to see the data set. You can see here. Now you can see here, if I go a little bit over here, you can see opinion leadership. Opinion leadership, there are 6 questions. No, actually there are 6 questions. If I enlarge it, you can see it much better. So you can see OL1. Now this is the first employee who has responded. OL1, OL2, OL3, like this. Actually, although there's a value label, the actual value is 5 here. OL2, the actual value is 5. OL3, the actual value is 5. Again, OL4, 5. OL5. So consistently, they have replied to OL1 to OL6. All are 5. Now I want to create a variable. Now these are sub questions. I want to create a variable called opinion leadership. Right? Opinion leadership, for an example, let's say OPL variable, wow, something. Now, how can I create this variable? What I'll do is I will take the average of these 6, right? Of these 6 questions, and I'll create a variable. That's how I would create a variable without an issue, right? So there are 6 sub questions. So I will take the row mean, the mean of this row, and create for these 6 variables. I'll take the mean and I'll create the row mean, and I'll create the variable. So what's the variable value? So 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, all. So there are 30, altogether 30, 30 divided by 6, it's 5. So the variable value opinion leadership should be for the first person, it's 5. Because all have 5. Right here, you can see the values given here. Right? Got the point? Now, based on that, let's now create the variable. So how to create the variable, that's what I'm going to show you now. For that, you have to close or minimize the data editor window. And now let's see how you are going to create the variable. For that, you need to go to data. Right? You go to data to create the variable, right? Go to data, go to create or change data, create new variable extended. Take down, creating a new variable and write down these steps. Right? Write down these steps. Write down these steps. Create new variables extended and click on that. Then now do the name of the variable. Let's say opinion, OP leadership. let's say opinion leadership, OPL. You can give any name. And I'm going to get underscore because you cannot leave any spaces. You will put an underscore and I'll say var. Variable. Opinion leadership variable. OPL var. You can give any name, right? Then what you need to do is you need to take the row mean because there are 6 rows and you have to take the mean. So I'm going to take this function called row mean. Here, row mean is there, right? Then the variable, write it automatically, choose and float, leave it as it is. And eigen function is, right, now you have to give the variables that you have to take the, so row mean. So what are the things? Oil 1 to oil 6. So you take oil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what it says is to create a variable called OPL var by taking the row mean of these 6 sub questions. And you will press OK. Yes, it ran. So actually this is the variable command. Eigen is the extended generation command. Float is the type of the variable. Then the new variable name is OPL var. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to take the row mean of oil 1 to oil 6. Right? So that's how you create a variable. And now if you go and see, if you again go to browse, right? And if you go to, right, the end of the variable list. So I'm going to go to the end. You can see there's a new variable now, OPL var, and you can see the average value is 5. Because you took, I think you can remember earlier, 30 divided by 6, it was 5. So OPL var is 5. And for all others, it has taken the row mean of those 6 sub questions. Right? Likewise, Putha, you have to create the other variables also. Right? I'm going to close this particular data editor window, and I'm going to use again, right, these sub questions, right? So now these for opinion leadership, then I'm going to now take the functional value. But mind you, the functional value you saw FP7 had a problem. So I'm not going to take that sub question to create the variable. So I'm going to say, so I'll go again back to data, create change variables, then create new variable extended. Then now it's not opinion var, let's say functional value. Say if functional value. Something like FP var or even FP var. And then I'll take the functional value related questions. So I'm going to delete these things. I don't need those. And I'm going to take the row mean of functional value. But again, I'll take FP1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm not going to take 7. Why? Because FP7 had a problem. You can remember the factor loading was around 0.32 something, which is not good. So I'm not going to take that. So I'm going to take FP bar, I'm going to create a variable only with the 6 sub questions. Likewise, that's why. Now, since we had 7, we could drop 1. If we had only 1 question and it had an issue, then big issue, right? It's not like gender variable, right? It's perception-based questions. So there's no problem. I'm going to say okay. So you can see a new variable has created a FP without an issue. So then the third variable. I can go and see the third variable. Now functional value is also there. Now the next one is emotional value, EV. EV1 to EV3, I'm going to create one. There was no issue in creation as well. And so create new extended. So I'll say EV bar, emotional value. Then I'm going to go here and I'm going to select emotional value. So functional value, I took those. Then emotional value, EV1, EV2, and EV3. Right? And I'm going to press OK. So eigen EV bar variable is created, row mean. So you can just check that if you go to the list here, you can see EV bar is there in the list. So emotional value is also created. So what's the next variable? Emotional value created, there's no issue. Right, opinion, leadership, emotional value. Then we have conditional value. Conditional value, there are 4 questions that I have taken the raw mean. There was no issue in my factor value. So I'm going to go to data and I'm going to go to create data, create new variable extended. So I'll now call this CV bar, conditional value variable. Instead of EV1 to EV3, I'm going to say CV1 to CV4. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to take the row mean, press OK. So you can see CV row mean 1 to 4. There's no issue. Perfect. So that variable also created. You can see CV is also there in the list. Right, in this list of variables is there. Then conditional value is okay. That's good. Then EPV, epistemic value is there. EPV 1 to 4. I'm going to again create EPV one. So create new variable. So let's go to EP bar. EPV. So RP, not RP, EPV. EPV, epistemic value. So I'll take the average of the epistemic value variables. So EP 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's good. So press OK. So I have the EP1 row mean. There's no problem. Let's see whether I got it over here. Yeah, EP1 is also there. Good. Perfect. Then I go date again. And I go to create new. So now let's go to the next one. So EP is also done. Then I think we have SV1 to SV4. So we can call it SV1. SV. Social value. So I'm going to remove these things and I'm going to take the row mean of social value. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's great. One more to go. So that also I create. Press OK. So that also has been extended. That also given. Perfect. Then the next one, I'm going to go to data again, create variable. The last variable, the dependent variable extended. So I'll say purchase intention PIVA, purchase intention variable. So I'll take the row mean of the purchase intention. So here you can see PI1, PI2, PI3, and PI4. Great. So I'm going to take the row mean of that and create the variable, and I will say okay. So now you can see that variable is also created. Now I have created altogether 7 variables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 variables. Now only I created the variables. Once I check what? The reliability and validity. Right. So see the steps. And so I'm going to close this one. Okay. I shouldn't close that. Okay. So you can see now the 7 variables are created. It's there here listed. Now what I could do is I could now go for the next ones. So I have done that. Done. The next one, what I have to do is you have to describe the independent, dependent, and the demographic variables. Right? Describe. To do description, describe that what analysis you perform. To describe the sample, what analysis do you perform?
Descriptive analysis.
Very good. Excellent. You perform descriptive analysis. Perfect. So I told you, when you perform descriptive analysis, you have to look at the nature of the variable. If the variable is categorical, what analysis do you perform?
Frequency analysis.
Very good. Excellent. It's a frequency analysis. If it is a continuous variable like age in this case, now how to know whether it's that type of variable? You won't see the variable. You can say gender is a categorical variable. frequency analysis. Age is a continuous variable. Sometimes it might be also given as a categorical variable, and here it's a continuous variable because we have to write the age. Marital status what? Categorical. Highest academic qualification, categorical. Monthly gross income, categorical. Occupation, categorical. How do you usually listen to music, categorical. Then which platform, categorical. But when it comes to Likert scale, now we created 7 variables. Those are what? You can again perform descriptive statistics, considering them, right, as a continuous variable. Okay, so that's what we are going to do next. So let's first perform frequency analysis for the categorical variables, demographic variables, and then let's perform for age and the other Likert scale questions, Likert scale variables that we created, OPL var, likewise to PI var. We'll do descriptive analysis because those are continuous variables. Okay, so how to perform frequency analysis for categorical variables? I forgot now. How to perform that? So you go to statistics, summaries, tables, and tests. Then what? Go to frequency tables and go to one-way table. And remember that we discussed this, right? Frequency tables and one-way table. Again, what? Statistics, summaries, tables. Then we'll go to frequency tables and one-way table, right? So you are going to go here, then this dialog box appears. Then what's the category? Let's say gender. Gender. And I don't need subpopulation, so I could say okay. So you can see gender, the information is good. Now, how to put this table? Now, in your individual assignment as well as group assignment, I told you to put the screenshots. So how to take a screenshot? It's very easy in Stata. You select the required section, right? Better to start from the bottom. See, I start from the bottom and I go to the top. With the command itself, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy. I'm going to right click and copy as picture. I'm going to copy as picture because I require kind of screenshot like image. So then what I'll do is I'll go to a place where I want to paste it, right? So already I pasted it, but again, I'm going to paste it. So I'm going to paste it. I'll just go and click on the place I want to paste it and I'll paste it. That's all. So that comes over. Tabulate. Likewise, I can have matter status tabulated as well. Again, same procedure. Because again, it's a categorical variable. Then explain this properly, right? When you are explaining this, right, for your individual assignment as well as group assignment, you have to give, the highlights. You can say, okay, there were 300 respondents, and out of that, majority are female, which amounts to 71.33%. Likewise, you have to indicate. Then you can do the same thing to marital status. Marital status, you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories, and you can see the frequencies are given. Who are the majority? Single guys, isn't it? 52%. So those highlights you have to give. The minority is what? You can see others, 0.33. Likewise. Huh? Okay, then what you can do is you can generate descriptive statistics. Now these are frequency for categorical variables. You can give frequency analysis. I have taken only 2, but there are enough free categorical variables that were listed there that you can do those kind of frequency analysis for those variables as well, which due to time constraint I'm not going to do that, but you know how to do that. Then how to perform frequency analysis. So how to perform frequency analysis? So you go again back to what? You go to Stata. So let me explain so you can see much better. Okay. And okay, you go to statistics, then summaries, table, and test, and go to what? Other tables, and go to compact table of summary statistics. Okay. That's how you could generate descriptive statistics easily. So I'm going to take the continuous variables. Age is a continuous variable, and also I'm going to take some other variables like OPL var, FV var, which we created. EV var, CV var, EPV var, FV var, and PI var. So all the independent and dependent variables I have taken. Then I need the mean value, so I'll leave mean. Then I need also maybe the median. I like to see the median. And then I would like to see the standard deviation. And I would like to see the minimum values, then the maximum values. Also, I would like to see kurtosis, and skewness. That's it. So I would like to see these values described. Then I'll say, okay, you get a nice table. And on the other hand, I would like to see, right, in research papers, I would like to see that the variables listed this way, right, as, rows, and the statistics listed this way, so transposed. So what I'm going to do is, how to get that? I go again to the same place, summaries tables, other tables, compact table, and let's change the setting. So I'll go to options, and you see, use columns, use as columns. I'll say statistics. Statistics needs to be in columns, so I'll have that. I'll press OK. Now it's much palatable. I'll have the variables listed here, mean values, the median, standard deviation. So this is much familiar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now copy this as it is starting from the bottom. And you will take the command and right click and say what? Copy as picture. Right, copy as picture, and I'll go to here. And instead of this table is the other way around. I'm going to delete the table and I'm going to paste the new table. Yes, here's the new table. And then I will tell what I see. I'll comment on age. Age, I'll say the average age of this employee is 37. The median is 36. And there's a standard deviation 13. The minimum age is 18 and maximum age is 82. But of course, there's a huge kurtosis, isn't it? So if usually it's around 3 or more, then there's an issue related to kurtosis. So it seems the normal distribution is not there. But for others, and then of course for FV, that problem is also there. Right, but how? So you can see your first objective was what? To assess the purchase intention. Can you remember? Your first objective here was to assess the purchase intention. And have you got the purchase intention? Yes, under descriptive statistics, you have got them. You can see purchase intention was the mean value is 3.49. Is it good? Is there a high purchase intention? So that's the first objective, to assess the level of purchase intention. Isn't it? So it's in fact was the first objective, right? So you have achieved your first objective by performing descriptive statistics. So it's 3.5, let's say 3.5. So is it good? Is the purchase intention good? In a 1 to 5 Likert scale, 3.5, is it good? I don't think so. 1 is highly disagree, 2 is disagree, 3 is neutral, 4 is agree, and 5 is highly agree. So if they have higher purchase intention, they would have told highly agree or agree. But this is between 3 and 4, neutral to agree. So purchase intention is not that high. Right? That's what we could see. And on the other hand, you can see in terms of independent variables, what has the highest value? Opinion leadership has the highest value. So people seems to be influenced by opinion leaders, but by looking at the descriptive statistics, you cannot tell them, but it has the highest. What has the lowest mean value? Lowest mean value is EPV bar. epistemic value. What has the highest standard deviation? In terms of independent dependent variables. So you can see 737, 7337. Yeah. Purchase intention as a dependent variable, it has 0.73. What among the independent variables, what has the highest? 0.74 is there. EPV, epistemic value. It has the lowest value, but again, you can see another observation is that all independent and of course the dependent variable, all independent variables are above 3. So that's good, isn't it? All are above. So all people have agreed, right? It's above neutral, at above 3. So you can comment on those kind of aspects that I told you, right? Is it clear? Clear that? Now do it again, do it again, then only you will get it into your minds. Work it out. Of course, this Sunday we'll have an assessment, a group basis. That you'll get into groups and you can do that and you can present it. Okay, then let's come into the relationships between the independent and dependent variable. To see the relationship, what kind of analysis do you do? Already. Very good, excellent. Correlation analysis. So now this is the way, now even for your individual assignment and group assignment, this is the way you should do. I'm in fact giving you the answer, right? First state your quantitative objectives, then suitable sampling strategy, then reliability, then check the validity. And if there are certain issues, you have to mention that, then only create the independent dependent variables, then describe, then perform. But after you do only those things, you can do the demographic analysis for the demographic factors as well as descriptive analysis for demographic variables as well as continuous for continuous variables. You can compute the measures of central tendency, dispersion, distribution, and location, right? Okay. Okay. So now let's see how to perform the correlation analysis. Perform a correlation analysis. How to perform correlation analysis? Very simple. What you do is you go to data and you can go to statistics. So let me expand the thing so you can see much better. Statistics, summaries, tables, then what? Summary and descriptive statistics, and go to where? Pairwise correlation. We did this all, just reminding you. Pairwise correlations. Then here you have to select the variables that are there, of course, the independent dependent variables. So you take first the independent variables OPL, FV, FVWA, EV, CV, EPV, SV, and PI. Either put the dependent variable at the end or at the beginning. Don't put that in the middle, it's hard to interpret. And you say print number of observations, that should be ticked, and print significant levels. Please tick that as well. And press OK. You get a nice table of. So you look at the last row. Last row shows very easily, now it's easy to interpret. It shows the PI bar, the purchase intention variable, having what kind of relationship with the 5 independent variables. Now the first independent variable is opinion leadership. You can see the opinion leadership with PI bar has what kind of relationship? Is it significant? Is the relationship significant? Yes. The second row, right, shows the significance level. It's significant. In fact, all are significant. All have significant relationships. That's a comment that you can make. You can see all independent variables have a significant relationship with the purchase intention variable, right? You can comment on that. Then, of course, they all are positive. They are significant and positive. You can see all are significant positive. What has the highest relationship? This variable, isn't it? What's that variable? It's epistemic value. Epistemic value has the highest correlation with the purchase intention. It's 0.55, so it's moderate. In fact, these three variables are moderate, having a moderate positive correlation. CV, EPV, and SV. But on the other hand, the others are having a weak correlation, although positive. What are the others? You can see OPL, FE, and EV. So that kind of comments are required for explaining the relationships. Okay, is it clear? I'm going quite a bit quick explanations because we discussed all these things. So that's where we discussed about the relationship. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Then the next question asked about comment on whether the purchase intention differs based on gender. Based on gender, right? Whether the purchase intention differs. What's the test that you have to perform? What's the test that you have to perform?
T-test.
Very good. Independent sample t-test. Excellent. So how to do that? Very simple. Right? What you do is you go to statistics, summaries tables, then what? Classical test of hypothesis, and you go to t-test. Mean comparison. Then you are going to go to write two samples using groups, males, females. What's the variable name? Purchase intention. That's what you want to see whether it differs based on gender. So you go to purchase intention, PIVAR, and grouping variable is gender. Others are okay, no problem, and you can press OK. So indeed, it gives a nice table now. It says there are 86 males, their mean value is 3.44 purchase intention. Females is 3.5. So females have a slightly higher purchase intention, isn't it? They have slightly higher purchase intention, but is it significant? Is the difference significance between males and females? That's why you will go and see the sig value. The sig value is well above 0.05. So in that case, you cannot take the null hypothesis. That means there is no difference between null hypothesis, that there is no difference between males and females. So here you cannot reject the null hypothesis, meaning that there is no difference between males and females in terms of what? Purchase intention. That's your conclusion. So put this table there, right? Put this table as it is. So I'm going to copy this. Copy table. Copy as a picture. Let's put it as a picture, then less trouble. Right, and also that's what is required from your one. Right. So that's it. And you have to explain, huh? I'm not going to explain anything, but using words, you have to explain. Marital status, right? In terms of marital status, Puta, right? What you need to do is you need to see whether there's an overall difference as well as whether there are specific differences. Now, there are 5 categories now. You have to see whether there are specific differences. Now, to see the overall difference, what's the test Puta you do? When you have more than 2 groups, what's the test that you do to see there are differences?
One way and all.
Very good. One way and all. And if you want to see specific differences, what you do? One way and all plus post hoc analysis.
Post hoc.
One Ferrani you can perform, what UT you can perform. Shall we see that? How to do that? Right. Okay. Let's see the overall difference. First of all, by performing one way and all. How to perform one way and all? I forgot now. Now what you need to see is you need to see, right, based on the purchase intention, right, based on marital status, whether the purchase intention differs. Maybe you might have thought married people or single people might prefer this app more than married people. Who knows? So to do that, to check that, you are going to do a one-way analysis. You go to statistics. Then you go to linear mode cell related, not summaries, linear mode cell. Then you go to ANOVA, MANOVA, and you go to one-way ANOVA. Right? Remember the steps. ANOVA, MANOVA, one way ANOVA. Right? It rhymes very well, isn't it? One way ANOVA. And then you go here and you say response variable is the purchase intention. What is it with the purchase intention? The first factor variable is the marital status. Factors are the marital status. And I also would like to produce a summary table which gives summary statistics. That's it. So because I'm not yet going to take Bonferroni because I'm not in the first instance to see the overall difference, and I'm going to say okay. Here you can see for each marital group, right? There are 5 groups. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So their mean values are given in terms of their purchase intentions. So you can see that the lowest mean value is for what? Lowest as what? This one, single people. Oh my God. Single people as the lowest. But again, all are about 3 indeed, but single people as the lowest. Who is having the highest purchase intention? Others, other category 3.75, and after that it's single parents. Single parents. Maybe they want to hear the song, right? Yeah. So maybe they are fed up of listening, songs from their children, so their partners are not there. That's why it's single parents. So maybe they want to listen to some songs. Maybe I don't. Right. But again, there are differences. Are they significant? You can see this, the probability of error. The sig value is given here. Again, you can see the sig value is well above 0.05. So what's your conclusion? On an overall basis, is there a significant difference? No, there is not. Why? Because you cannot reject the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis indicates that there is no differences. Now you cannot reject it. Why? The sig value is well above 0.05. So you cannot reject the null hypothesis, meaning that there is no difference on an overall basis. Right? On an overall basis, there is no significant difference. Overall basis. Right? In ANOVA, if you can remember what I'm talking of, you go and check the ANOVA. Overall basis, there is no difference. But now, if I want to have specific comparisons, what's the test I do? ANOVA with. So you can put this output over there. I will take it from here. Let's copy it from the down. Up. Oops. Okay, that's good. Then right click, copy as picture. So it's like the screenshot, and I'm going to put it over here. Matrix status overall. Right, it's given here. Overall differences seems not there. And specific differences. For that, I need to do Bonferroni analysis. So how to perform Bonferroni analysis? Again, you'll be going to the same place. Statistics, summaries. Then you'll go to what? Bonferroni, no, sorry. Again, I was linear models. ANOVA, one way ANOVA. And then please select Bonferroni in addition to what has been selected and press OK. So you can see the Bonferroni analysis is giving almost the same thing, but again, so you can see first part is the same. It compares between the groups and among the groups, and you have the same probability value. But now here it shows what groups are different from each other, very clear. Right? You take all married, there's no difference. Why? Because the sig value is listed here. The sig value is well above 0.05. It's in fact 1. Single parents with married, no difference. Single with married, no difference. Others with married, no difference. So all you can see, the sig values are almost 1. Which shows what? There is no significant difference between any of these groups. That's your conclusion. Any of these groups, because only we could see that there's a difference if the sig value is less than 0.05. That means that you could reject the null hypothesis that says that there's no difference. If it had been less than 0.05, which is not. So here you can see by bonfire analysis, you confirm that there's no significant difference, right, between any of the groups. So how could I now put this into, so I'm going to take only the comparison, right? I'm going to take the comparisons, individual comparisons, right click, copy as picture, and I'm going to put that into my Word file. And I will explain that there's no difference. Okay. Suddenly my signal a bit dropped. I think you can hear me now clear, right? There was a signal drop. Can you hear me, Buddha? සූවල සෙනගක් ඉන්නවා 27 දෙනෙක් තිබුණා.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
we can.
You can hear me. Okay. Right. So I think now you can see today I'm in fact doing a summary. In fact, doing a revision, a summarized revision to you. Why I'm doing it now? So you can apply that to your own individual study as well as for your group study. So it's a little bit of time, but not much time, is it? Okay. So I taught you how to do change, how to see the overall difference as well as how to see the specific differences. Is it clear? So these are all I taught you. Right. So we did the question H, comment whether the purchase intention differs based on gender as well as marital status. Right? Is it clear? Questions? So when it comes to the marital status, I took the overall difference, whether there's overall difference as well as specific differences, both indicated there's no difference. So gender, no difference. Marital status, there's no difference. Even when I compared the specific groups with each other, we did not see any difference. Okay? Clear? Is it clear, Buddha?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Buddha, please go ahead.
Sir, this is regarding our individual assignment.
Yes, yes.
When it comes to creating a synthetic data set,
Yes.
can you tell us how to create?
Very good question. Very good question. So, Buddha, now if you want to apply all I am teaching you, then Buddha, you have to also include what? Likert type of questions. Isn't it? Do
Yes,
you
sir.
understand? Now, let's say for an example, you took the example of, let's say, young investors' investment behavior in Sri Lanka. So, investment behavior, purchase intention, or investment behavior is your dependent variable. There can be any amount of independent variables. But those independent variables you can have, of course, you can then include demographic variables like binary variables like gender, marital status, likewise more than, two options, two questions. And then Putha, make sure you have what? At least 3-4 independent variables that has sub questions. Then make you all that can. Right now, if I take opinion leadership, there are how many sub questions? 6 sub questions. Then if I take purchase intention, make a purchase intention sub-questions here. There were 4 sub-questions. So likewise create that. Then only you can check what? Then only you can check reliability. Then only you can check validity. Like question what you call this one? Reliability validity. When they get a reliability validity because it's only one question and it's not Likert scale as well. Okay. So create Likert type questions like this. Right? And a scenario like this. Then only you can apply all what I have taught you. And then create variables as I taught you. Exercise so my students could perform very well and earn the full marks. Now I could have expected you to think and do this, but I thought of doing better to give you the chance as well as to give you the awareness now itself. So you can create your synthetic data set and apply these things. So it's totally up to you to select the scenario. But my recommendation or tip for you to get the maximum where you can apply all, a very good question you asked to come up with Likert type questions as well. Right? Got the point. So the assignment Putta says at least 10, variables, but it says at least. So you can have 20, 30 variables, there is no problem. And you can have several observations as well because it's a synthetic data set. Synthetic you create by yourself. It's not a real data set. Okay. Is it clear, Buddha?
Yes, sir. So for those independent variables, do we need to create separately 5 sub-questions for each independent variable?
Of course, at least 3 sub-questions. At least 3. At least 3 sub-questions, at most 5. තුනේ සිට පහ දක්වා පුතා ක්‍රියේට් කරන මොකද සමහර වෙලාවට සින්තටික් එක ක්‍රියේට් කරද්දී පුතා දේවල් අවුල් වුණොත් දැන් මම එකක් පුතා දැන් බලන්න for an example when it came to functional value how many sub questions were there were 7 but one had a factor loading puta less than 0.3 0.4 so I removed that when I took the average and created that variable you saw that I took only the 6 sub variables fe1 to fe6 and took the average and created the variable. Now, so that's like at least 3 what so that's why ideal number is 5. Very good question you asked.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, by all means. Any others who are having issues related to the individual and group assignment? Okay. If you do have any questions, yes, Puta, please go ahead.
දැන් අපි data set එක create කරද්දී state එකට එතකොට දැන් ඔය questions අපි enter කරන්න ඕනේනේ.
ඔව් පුතා. State එකට questions enter කරන්න ඕනේ නෑ දරුවෝ. ඉතින්ලා පුතා question එක හදාගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ අර Excel එකේ variables ටික පුතා මේව කරගන්න. Excel එකේ අර මම පුතා මුලදිම කියලා දුන්නේ ඔයාලට මතකද? මතක් කරගන්න දරුවෝ ඉස්සෙල්ලාම Excel එකේ හදාගන්න data set එක. variables වලට කෙටි නම් දෙන්න. අර spaces දෙන්න බෑ. කෙටි නම් දීලා ඊට පස්සේ පුතා Excel එකේ හදාගෙන ඊට පස්සේ මොකද කරන්න ඕන? ඊට පස්සේ තමයි ඒක import කරන්න ඕන. state එකට. අර මතකද employee data set එක මුලදීම ඒක පළවෙනි lesson එකේ. අන්න ඒ විදිය තමයි. So let me put that in English for the benefit of all. Thank you, Puta, for that excellent question. So she is asking how to create the data set in Stata. My advice is create the data set first of all where? In Excel. I think you can remember I told you how to create even we had an exercise for that, right? And a Tobacco data set I ask you to create those days. So first create that in Excel, then import that to Stata. So there give the variable names appropriately. Give the names appropriately, right? Short names. Then you can give the labels, value labels for the positions, etc., etc., everything that I told you later. But first, Puta, create the data set where? In Excel. Puta, පැහැදිලිද මං කියපු දේ?
Oh, sir, thank you.
Very good. So you're asking some very nice questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Of course, Puta, please go ahead.
Sir, in our individual assignment, you have asked to perform only the descriptive analysis.
Yeah.
Correct?
Oh, that's correct. ඒතර පුතා descriptives විතරයි දාන්න තියෙන්නේ. group එකේ තමයි පුතා අනිත් ටික ඔක්කොම කරගෙන යන්න තියෙන්නේ. group
Group.
එකේ තමයි පුතා අනිත් ටික.
Okay.
ඒතර individual එකේ variables creation දක්වා තමයි යන්නේ. variables ටික create කරලා පුතා හැබැයි variables create කරද්දී ensure කරන්න ඕනේ validity reliability තියෙනවද කියලා. ඒතර ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් individual එකේ කියන්න වෙනවා. මොකද නැත්නම් පුතා variables create වෙච්ච විදිය පැහැදිලි නැහැ. So when in the individual assignment, now you have to perform descriptive analysis. Now to come to descriptive analysis, before that you have to create the variables. Lickers type questions if you have. For that you have to indicate whether the particular variables, if it is Likert scale, having reliability and validity. Unless otherwise, you cannot create the variables. No? So indicate that also. And then you could show the descriptive analysis, frequency analysis, then you can perform measures of center data dispersion and distribution location for continuous variables as well as graphical analysis. Right? That's for the individual assignment. Then starting from t-test, one-way ANOVA, correlation, regression, etc., and then I'll teach you something called the smart PLS as well. Right? So for that, you need to apply for that group assignment, the group work. Right. The question, you asked an important question. Right. Good. Very good. If you have more questions, ask me. Right. Let's go ahead. Now, let's come to the next question. Right. After the correlation analysis, after not correlation, after this test of differences, matter status, gender and matter status, the next question is to write hypothesis for the regression analysis. Regression analysis hypothesis ලියන්න පුළුවන්. So what the hypothesis? Now you have 6 independent variables, so you have 6 hypotheses. What are the hypotheses? You will tell each independent variable and the dependent variables. You will say opinion leadership has a significant impact on the purchase intention, right, of the premium music app. Then functional value, the second independent variable, has significant impact. Can someone tell me what's the H3? So for each indeed, now if I go to the conceptual diagram, you can see the T set. Okay? You'll see functional value. So H1, maybe H1, H2, whatever, there's no order, but you can say H1 functional value has an impact on purchase intent, significant impact on purchase intent. Then H2, social value has a significant impact on purchase intent. H3, so likewise, emotional value has a significant impact on purchase intention. Then conditional value has significant impact on purchase intent. Epistemic value has significant impact on purchase intent. And opinion leadership has a significant impact on purchase intention. Likewise, for each independent variable, you can write a hypothesis. So those are the hypotheses that you say that there is a significant impact. Right? So you can see I have written certain hypotheses for you. Significant impact. Now you are talking impact, not the relationship. Impact. Now these are the regression hypotheses. Right? For each independent variable. Now if you had moderator and mediators, then you have to write for those as well. But here you don't have moderators and mediators yet. You are straightforward, direct, indirect relationships. Right? Is that clear? So as you could write hypothesis, the null hypothesis for the test of differences for regression analysis also, you could come up with these kind of hypotheses. I have written on 2, but you know, the only thing what you have to do is you have to just put the independent variables and the dependent variable. The dependent variable is purchase intention in all cases. Right. Okay. Then based on the regression, so the last question is, based on the regression results, comment on the overall model validity. Now, actually, we have achieved 3 objectives without even knowledge. Level of purchase intention was how much? How did we achieve that? By looking at descriptive statistics. Under descriptive statistics, it indicated 3.5 Likert scale, and we understood it's not so good, the purchase intention. Then differences. To examine the differences between gender as well as among marital status groups. So what was the outcome? What was the result? For gender, we performed independent sample test and we did not see a difference, a significant difference. Marital status, we performed one-way ANOVA as well as post-hoc analysis. One Ferrani's post-hoc analysis, we did not see any difference. Right? Then finally, we looked at also the relationships by using what? Correlation analysis. In the correlation analysis, we saw there were all significant positive relationships, but some had moderate strength positive relationships, and others had 3 we saw that had a weaker relationship. So in fact, we have got the results for now. We have achieved the objectives of the first 3 objectives, right, of this study. Then the 4th one is to see the impact. Impact table and to see the impact. What's the thing that you do? Regression analysis. Excellent. Regression analysis. Very good. So how to perform the regression analysis now? So put the independent variables and the dependent variables. So you develop even the hypothesis for that. So for the regression analysis, and then you are going to do the regression analysis, and you are going to tell whether the hypotheses are supported or not. Right, under the regression analysis. High support and that's it. Okay, so shall we do the regression analysis now? So you go to data. Let me increase the size. So you go to statistics, then you got the linear models and related, and you'll go to linear regression. Then what you do is you go to this dialog box and select the dependent variable. What's the dependent variable? The last variable, which is purchase intention bar. Then you have the 6 independent variables. So you will select here the independent variables: opinion leadership, functional value, emotional value, conditional value, epistemic value, and social value. And that's it. Others you can leave it as it is. There's no need to do anything, and you can press OK. No regression. Now you got the regression analysis, and you can copy that and paste it as well. So I'm going to copy that from the bottom, starting from the bottom, going to the top. And the best thing is to also copy copy this one also. The command that is given passed by this data. So I'm going to go back to take up Aruna. Wedding and according to screen make it too large. So, okay, but I'll make the screen smaller. Right. And then now do it here again. Okay. My God, come on. Okay. We say copy picture, copy as picture, and put it over here. Regression. So I'm going to paste it. So this is the regression result. Okay. Now first thing, comment on the overall model value. What can I say about the overall model value? Look at the regression result and tell me whether the overall model is valid. Look at the balance overall model valid. You have to look at what? The probability of the F test. This one, the significance value of the F test. What can I say? It's less than 0.000. It's very small, tiny value. So what can I say? It's less than 0.05, isn't it? What's your conclusion? Yes.
Is significant.
Very good. Very good. It is significant. Perfect. The answer is it is significant. All model validity. Therefore, model is valid. Right? And the sleep value. Sleep value, or you can say the value or the p value of the F test is less than 5%. 0.05. So we call it it's significant. Oral. Right? So the oral model is valid. You are very correct. Then what's the explanation for the model? Explain for modeling. What's the explanation for?
R square.
Look at what? Very good. Excellent. You look at the R square. R square is 0.42. You convert it to a percentage, 42%. So what does it say? 40%, 42% of the this intention of this basic app is explained by the selected six independent variables. Is it good? Not so good, isn't it? The 6 independent variables could only explain 42% of the purchase intention. That means almost 58% is explained by some other variables, not considered the model. So that's not so good explanation of right. Then state whether the hypotheses are supported or not. To see whether the hypotheses are supported or not, you have to look at the coefficient table which is given here. You can see, you say it's supported if the sig value is less than 0.05. Right? Now for each independent variable, opinion leadership, functional value, then emotional values, conditional value, epistemic value, social value, the sig values are given on individual basis. Test taking overall model validity then individual model validities. It gives the individual model validities. If you look closely, how about the hypothesis on opinion leadership and purchase intention? Is it supported? Opinion leadership saha purchase intention. There was the hypothesis that says H1 opinion leadership has a significant impact on purchase intention. Is it supported? No, it's not supported. Very unfortunate, it's not supported. So we have to conclude the opinion leadership does not have, right, a significant impact on purchase intention, right, on this basic premium. How about functional value? Is it significant? Is it significant? No. That hypothesis also not supported. Then emotional value, 0.623. Is it significant? No. Again, it's not supported as well. A hypothesis supported because it's above, well above 0.05. Then conditional value? No. Because it's again 0.148, which is above 0.05. So that hypothesis also not supported. That conditional value has significant impact on purchase intention. It's also not supported. But how about epistemic value and social value? They both have a positive impact. They both have a positive impact. Others don't say positive or even negative. You say that there's no systematic impact. The hypotheses are not supported. That's all what you can say. Samara කට්ටිය කියන මේක positive negative. එහෙම කියන්න බෑ. If it is not significant, you should not commit. You should say that the hypothesis is not supported. That's all. But on the other hand, EPV and SV, yes, they are significant. You can see in both cases, the sig value is less than 0.05, and they both have a positive impact on purchase intention. That's the only two variables, right? Independent variables that has a positive impact on the dependent variable, right? So that's what you have to tell him. State whether the hypothesis was supported or not. So you can say only two hypotheses are supported. Then recommend strategies to increase the purchase intention. So remember this very well. When you give recommendations only on significant variables. Only on significant variables. Here only two are significant. What are those? EPV and SV. So therefore, one recommendation would be increase the epistemic value, right? So that it will increase the purchase intention. Why increase? Because there's a positive impact. Then increase the social value. Suggest some strategies to increase the social value. That will increase what? Again, the purchase intention of the music app. So those should be the recommendations. Now, what can you tell about this is the question now we have already answered. So we have now achieved all four objectives, right? What are the four objectives? You can see these are the four objectives. Level like value descriptive, we see the level by descriptive statistics. Differences we did t-test and one-way ANO. Even Bonferroni is post-hoc analysis. Then we look at the relationship by performing correlation analysis, and we looked at the impact. We understood there are only two variables, right? Two independent variables that has a positive impact on the purchase intention of this music premium app. So we have achieved all objectives, right? So this is right. So of course you expand this and expand some more analysis that I have taught you, right? When you do your individual as well as particular group assignment. But today, what I try to give you an overall idea of how to perform. And this is, in fact, it's going to be important to you in two ways. One, if you look at the past papers, you will see exactly similar questions. Right? Only the case study is different. The output is different. But the answers you will see, you have to module in this manner. So that's one thing I wanted to give my good students, a taste of the, question number one of your paper, your written paper for your final exam. It carries 40% of the paper, right? At 40%. The second reason I taught you this is so that you can attend to your individual as well as group assignment. I think high time that you start now. Right, high time you start now and apply all the things that I'm teaching you. And of course, if you have, now today I saw that there are some students who are asking excellent questions related to their individual and group assignment. So now itself clarify that this Sunday come and ask me. And this Sunday I'm going to give you a small case study based on a similar one, and I'll ask you to, do it in a group basis. It will be a group work, of course. Okay. So, and then I'll ask you to present it. Because you need to understand and apply. So actually by this case study, I summarized all what I taught you during the past several weeks. Important ones. Right. So it was a kind of revision as well. Okay. Any questions before we take attendance? Attendance with Gamuni. Yeah, calling attendance kamu. So I'll be taking attendance now. Get ready. Yeah. The session make it. So today is 11. The time is, we started at 7, not 7, it's 19:30. And it's till into up to 22. That about 22:30 නිසා අපි ටිකක් extend කරමු 22:40. නැත්නම් කාලේ ගන්න. Right? Okay. Okay, then student allows students. Okay, so rotate. Yes, that's it. Okay, but be ready now to get that answer. So please let me know if the attendance is right. Is it working, Buddha? Can
Yes,
someone please? Okay, Buddha. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Right, please record your attendance.
Sir,
Yes, Buddha?
can you share the updated worksheet?
Updated worksheet. Are you meaning
Worksheet.
updated Word document? Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank you, sir.
Why not? Right? Make a tiagan mono. Why do that? I'll put that into the LMS study. Everyone recorded the attendance, Buddha? Okay. So student makes a kind request. So let me put that updated document. So so it's like maybe put a mega in Corla. So I'll remove that. Week 9 under week 9 to remove that. Basic premium mega in Corla. So and let's put the new one. Updated. Maybe it's updated 22, 21. Colombo theory. Please see this. Yeah. With questions and answers, so it has the answers also. Huh? But again, half answers are also there, only the outputs are there. At the exam, you have to interpret, you have to explain. You'll be asked to interpret, explain, give details. Huh? Right. Okay. So I think we had a very nice session. And I'm very happy that, now if I check the attendance, now if I see the attendance for the so let's stop the recording. Recording and out the English. Okay, for the records, thank you very much, Putha. Good night. Someone will have to stop the record. Okay, Putha, thank you very much. So please, someone else, Putha, stop the recording. Right. Okay, so never mind. Good night, Putha. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. We'll meet this Sunday and have more discussions. And in case, if you do have any questions, concerns related to your individual or group assignment, right, please do ask me. I'll be very happy to support you and help you. So thank you very much. Good night. Please take care. See you soon.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, Putha. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, Putha. Please take care.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night, Putha. Please take care.